All right, good morning, everyone. This is Gail with Bella Soaps Company. I have tried to make a video 4 times at least, and it's like trying to get the camera right, trying to get the products under the camera and the right lighting has been difficult. So I'm going to try this one more time, just for you who have asked for a video. This is for you, okay? You see how your soap is made that you purchase from us. So this here is my oils. This is olive oil, sweet almond oil, castor oil, kale and clay. And then I have butters and my coconut oil, palm oil that I'm getting ready to mix here. And I do cold process. I do mix at room temperature. That's what works out good for me. Okay, we're going to be making, let's see. We're going to be making Country Clothesline from Nature's Garden. I buy most of my fragrances from her, not all of them, but most of them. Going to be using Stormy Blue Mica by Brambleberry, and Maniacal Pea, which I use a lot of, by Mad Micas. And I buy most of my micas from these 2 companies. Sometimes I switch. Have titanium dioxide to turn my base, after I mix this, to turn my base white. And then back here I have my lye ready to mix also. So I'm just going to do a regular swirl type soap. I'm going to use these flowers on it, flowers that I made from another batch. I hope you can see those. They're pretty. Actually, let me see, a bigger one, maybe. And the lighting gets bad if I get up there too far. So we have those flowers, and then I have some little tiny ones to go with that I'll be placing with the larger flowers. All right, let's get started. I'm ready to mix my oils. I'm going to save a little bit of white out to pipe it for flowers because I know I'll have a little bit too much batter for this mold. And I'll scrape every bit of oil out because measuring oil has to be precise, and so we don't want to leave any in the buckets, but we want it all in the soap. So measurement's very important making soap. Okay, so now I'm going to mix this up, and then we're going to be adding the so make a little bit of noise for a few minutes here. Okay, that's our oils. Now I'm going to put my lye in. And it doesn't take long after putting the lye in to get the soap made. And that depends, a lot of it depends upon your fragrance. Some fragrances will, they do all different sorts of things. If you haven't used a fragrance before, you never know what it's going to do. It could seize up on you really fast, and you've got to get it in the mold before you lose the whole batch, or sometimes it goes just perfect. It just depends. I try to stick with ones that will allow me the time and not seize up on me, not rice on me. Okay, so there's our lye, which completes our batter, other than the little extras we're going to put in. Get the bubbles out of there. I'm going to make a little noise. Okay, we're going to get this. This doesn't take long to incorporate the lye into the oils. I'm going to go ahead and do that. You'll actually, if the lighting is right, if the camera's right, you can actually see it change in color. It'll get thicker, it'll get lighter. I'm looking for what we call a thin trace, not a thick trace, and that's where you can lift your, you mix it, and then you check it by lifting your stick blender up and see what kind of trail you have. You want a light trail, or you want a medium, or you want a real heavy trail. If you want it a thick trace, which I don't want, because I want to work with the colors. So if you want to do that, you kind of have to go with a thin trace so you keep it fluid as long as possible. Okay, so we're going to blend this. I don't know if you can see there where it's turning white a little bit. Want all the oil incorporated with the lye. And you can see, like I can see lines of oil, so I know it's not thoroughly incorporated. And now, let's see, give it a couple more. Okay, so we've got thin trace. But you can see it leaves a trail. The next thing that I'm going to do is, let's see, do I want to, I want the white in there, so I don't know why I'm doing that. Okay, I've actually got to pour some in here to mix my titanium dioxide. If I put it in without mixing it, sometimes it just, it'll make what we call glycerin rivers. It won't mix well, and the soap won't, it isn't that the soap won't be as good. Some people like the glycerin rivers, but I don't really. So that's not what I want. Okay. All right. So we're going to mix the white for the base. Seems like the fragrance is behaving pretty good. The Country Clothesline, it's staying nice and fluid for me. You never really know how they're going to behave, like I said, especially if it's one you haven't used before. Okay, so now we're going to put the fragrance in, and then I'm going to mix some batter with the colors. Yep, I don't want to waste the batter. Hate wasting stuff. Okay, we're gonna put, see how our Country Clothesline fragrance mixes with our, and I hope it does not rise on me. Just mix it back and forth. Is the best way that I've found to actually get it mixed good. Okay, now I want my colors. Actually, another spoon. I don't need a lot of color. A little bit more blue maybe than green. And then, as I said, I want some to pipe, because I know this will be too much batter for my soap, and I want some white flowers, so I'm going to save those out. Maybe a little bit more than that. I don't want it to... that into my glass. Whoops, and it did because it is so fluid. Whoops. Oh. Okay, a little bit of problem with that. I'm gonna have to set it up so it can. Okay. All right, so now we're gonna stir our colors in, making a big old mess. It's not hard to make a mess with the oils and the. This doesn't look like it's mixing too good. It's not hard to make a mess with the oils and butters. It's usually, I probably used to have, when I wash the dishes or wash all the utensils and stuff that I use here, I usually have to wash two pans of dishwater before the oil is off them. Okay, so this is the blue that I wanted, a beautiful green. Mix this pretty good. Okay. Okay, so those are our two colors for Country Clothesline. Now we need our mold, which I'm going to just wipe it out with 99.9%, or maybe it was 99.1, I always forget, or 91.9 I mean. Okay, we're going to pour our batter in our mold. I'm going to leave enough to put on the top. Yes, I am. We're going to put our green in. Oops. Just better smack it down first. Actually, I'm just going to swirl this, just a regular swirl, nothing special. I wanted mostly blue in here. I might put some green, I don't, top maybe. Okay. Now we're going to swirl it. I'm going to take a wooden stick and I'm going to swirl this down into my white. I want to get a good swirl. Though I don't want to overdo it. If you overdo it, you'll have it looking like mud. We don't want to muddy up the colors, but keep them just in a nice type swirl. Okay, now I'm going to put the rest of it on the top, and I'm going to put it in I'm going to scoop it on because I don't want to pour it. I don't want it to go down into my swirls or into my batter. I just want it to be a white top. I can put my flowers on it that match my batter. Oh, this smells good. It's such a fresh, a country fresh smell, like fresh linens, clothes that just came off the clothesline like we did way back in the day. I really don't see anybody hanging clothes anymore now that we have dryers. Okay, so we want to get all that and get it in and make a mess while we do it. You can see how it's hardening up thickening up, I should say, a little. Okay. And that's it. And the last, or not the last thing I'll do, but I'm going to take my wooden skewer and I'm going to swirl it a little bit on the top before I do put my flowers on, so it has somewhat of a, it's evened out more, and it has, probably got my head in your way now, it has a more decorative look, I suppose. It's a little bit thick down here, so I'm going to push a little bit of it that way. Okay. Now I'm going to place my flowers. I actually think I'm going to spray it with a little alcohol, which makes sure that my flowers are going to stick really good. So I want them, let's see, I want them something like this. And then I want my little ones in between. Put kind of a small one there. I put my little babies in between. You notice the fragrance, if you can see the color good here. I'll lift it up a little closer to the camera in a minute. But if you can see, the fragrances will change the color sometimes. And this one changed. I wanted it more white than this. It kind of went to more of like a cream color. But that's okay. It still turns out good. Just not what I had in my head. But that's all right. Go ahead and put all these on. And then I'm going to put a little bit of, it's kind of like a whitish glitter. I'm going to put a little, not a lot. And that is how I make cold process soap, for those of you who have requested. And if I can hold it up, I will. I didn't get it out of the light. I don't know which way you... Anyway, there it is. Country Clothesline. This will, from here, this will be unmolded tomorrow. It will be cut tomorrow. And tomorrow it will also go into the basement on racks to dry, to cure, we'll say, for the next 6 weeks. It'll be curing. It'll actually cure for 5 weeks, and it'll come up to be packaged, and it'll be ready to sell in 6 weeks. All right, so I want to thank you for joining me. I hope you guys could really see with the lighting and all that how what a process it is and how beautiful it is, really. So thank you so much for joining me, and maybe I'll do another one, maybe I won't. It all depends on the camera and the lighting. It's like some days I don't have an hour to fool around with testing the camera and all that. Not that I wouldn't want to do it. But anyway, y'all have a good day. Thank you for joining me.